Good morning, Lisa. Welcome to the morning muffin, your carbo load of real estate. Ding ding. That's the Rice-A-Roni. I probably
Good
shouldn't ding ding.
morning.
I know I haven't had any caffeine this morning. I'm super weird.
That was different.
Do you like
I
my
see
big
you have
ball?
I see you have a bouncy ball in the back of your
You actually, that's part of the disaster. That is my office right now. Everything else you can't see because it's like all in front of me, and below me. Well, my office needs to be cleaned. It looks like a tornado went through here.
Hey, I know what that's like.
Maybe
That's
I should keep the close up.
Keep the close up. Well, I'm Lisa Wickman.
And I'm Jennifer Codis.
And we are with eXp Realty, we'll say your favorite realtors in the Twin Cities.
You're going to say that? I don't know. I feel like that's a bold claim.
Why not? If anybody wants to argue with me, they can put it in the comments.
Argue.
Or they could agree with me.
That
would feel good.
Sure, that works. Okay. But today we're talking about mentors and mentorship. And how as an adult, it's important to stay open, receptible, teachable. Sometimes, and I think that a lot of people can say they don't like change, but change is the only constant, right? Oh, this hair's going to annoy me today.
Right. And I think it's important, change is constant, yes. And I think it's important to always be a lifelong learner.
Yes.
Which can happen through mentors, coaching, mentorship, all that. I think it's really good.
Well, and I think it comes down to resourcefulness, right? You can have a problem and you can blame other people, or you can pout, you can play the victim, which these are all things that happen, and I'm totally guilty of. But it's whether or not how long I want to stay in that spot and how I want to get myself out.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good place to be. I have gotten over that. I take responsibility for everything. I typically don't blame anybody for anything. That wasn't the way it has been all my life, right. But I'm in that space now. You mentioned resourcefulness, and I think that is one of the best qualities that anybody can have, because if you are resourceful, you can problem solve. Mm-hmm. And, we all have problems of different kinds. So like you said, you can stay in that space, or you can be resourceful, figure it out.
I love solving problems. I love solving other people's problems too.
Oh, I know that about you. I don't like doing that. We're opposite in that respect.
I know. I'm like, I read a book about this. I've read 10 books about this. I think I was telling you yesterday when I picked this topic, I was going through my my Audible library the other day, and you can look up the different categories. I have 22 books that I have read last year alone on just relationships and raising children.
Oh, well, that's good. That's a good thing. So you're probably pretty good at it. You might not need any more. I want to talk. Okay, so will you pull up that link and then kind of scroll down?
Yeah.
I want to talk about the definition, and I'm not actually going to use at the top of this. I'm not looking at your screen, but do you have it up? Okay. So mentorship, according to the dictionary, is the guidance provided by a mentor, especially an experienced person in a company or educational situation.
Institution.
But I think if you page down, I think there's a quote that says what mentoring means, and I really like this. Mentoring is to support and encourage people to manage their own learning in order that they may maximize their potential, develop their skills, improve their performance, and become the person they want to be.
I don't see it. Where is it? Was it up top?
It's okay. You had to scroll on something, but you can get rid of that.
Well, now I'm gonna have to put it in there. Here we go. Control copy. It'll be in the comments, you guys. Hey, if you guys are mentors, let us know.
Let us know. But I
Yeah,
think
because
that definition, to encourage people to manage their own learning and to help them become the person they want to be, I think that's huge. I think that's huge.
it
Um,
is.
and let's talk about who our mentors are. Do
Okay.
you have to go first?
I have a couple I want to talk about. First things first is I always talk about AA because I'm sober. I've been sober since I was 27, which is young for a lot of people, but I, you know, didn't like where I was going. I had a decision to make. I could see success on one side of the road, and then I could see disaster. And I knew that if I kept drinking, that was the only path for me. And I'm small. I'll show you a picture later that like puts me in perspective of other people. So alcohol like really got to me, and my choice of drink was always vodka, straight vodka. So it goes right where it needs to. But uh I think that AA helps a lot of people, and a lot of people have problems with alcohol, and they might not be alcoholics. They might just be abusing alcohol
Very
during like a
different.
time. Yeah. But I read a couple books when I got sober. I'm going to back up. People have problems with AA because of the whole God thing. Like part of, they don't like religion, it's stigmatized, they're atheists, and that is perfectly all right. But and yes, it has religious roots. And
We have a
Glen
comment.
Daniels, yeah, Glen Daniels says he's been
Oh,
accused of being a mentor.
hi, Glenn. I love it. I
That's
love
a
it.
wonderful thing to be accused of.
It's fabulous.
But like to think of it as the gift of desperation. God, gift of desperation. And I've heard it called that. I've heard
I
it
love
called group
that.
of drunks. It just means that there's something bigger than you. The world doesn't revolve around you, and you have to have that idea that there's something bigger out there. So with that being said, one of the people that introduced me to AA, and I'm going to show this, who I actually can still say is a mentor, this is the old picture of me when I used to manage Rock Bottom Brewery for 10 years. Lovely, huh? I'm that
She's the,
little,
she's the
I'm the
gal at the
little,
top.
I'm that little bird up the top. I think I weighed like 102 pounds there. But this man in black here, his name is Lou Hernandez, and he introduced me to AA. I actually knew about it before him because my mom had tried it, and I knew it would work because it didn't work on her, because I knew that she was one of those people that was didn't want it. You know what I mean? Like just didn't want it, and I wanted it. And then he wasn't the one that took me to my first thing, but he was the one that he had a family, he was functional, he had a life, and that's what I wanted. And then my other mentor here
Oh,
is my
Grandma.
grandma. She passed
Oh,
away in 2014. I was actually at a closing about 6 months before she passed away, and she called me, and it was her birthday in May. And I was like, Grandma, why are you calling me? And she's like, oh, I just miss you. And I was like, but it's your birthday. What are you doing? And she said, oh, I went swimming. And I'm like, you're 98 years old. You're going swimming? I'm like, you're my hero. But she was the woman who's like, you don't need to buy clothes. You can make them. You don't need to buy food. You can grow it. You don't need to buy sauce. You can make it. Everything can be solved with a hot pot of tea and a couple of cookies.
Oh, I love that.
And there was no boundaries in her house either. So we could literally get into everything. And she used it as like a teachable moment. Like I loved going into her sewing room and I knew how to sew. In fact, I knew how to sew and crochet and knit at a very young age. And I just remember the piece that it was. And then I also, my chess coach, which I don't have a picture of when I was younger. And, you know, I was in a really bad situation. And I'm not going to cry. And he was there for me. So I've had mentors all my life. And I've kind of like used them, you know, to pull myself out. And there's always, you know, after I lost them or they've moved on, you know, I have found that I don't know what's best and to seek out that person that does. That's why I read so many books. That's why I lead accountability groups. It's just what, because I don't know what's best.
I think you probably know better than you think you do.
I know how to be resourceful.
You know how to be, well, and that's a good quality. Like I said.
And I'm sorry I know I'm going to do this one more time. I don't mean to hog up all the screen time with all my mentors. I was just wanted to share. It is, by the way, it's Mentor Month, #1 in January. Yeah. And it's 100 years of Big Brother, Big Sisters. And I don't know if you've ever had a program like this. There are a lot of kids out there that need help. You know, their parents might be working 2 jobs and, you know, they want to keep them off the streets. You know, if you have time and you can share and you can be a part of someone's life, please do. This is an amazing organization. And I can't encourage it enough. Especially being a young kid and knowing how vulnerable you are. And I think that's a term that I interchange with mentorship is vulnerability. It takes somebody to say, I need help to find a mentor.
And that's being vulnerable for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's your turn.
Okay. I don't have pictures of my mentors. So I have gone through a couple of coaching programs and I consider my coaches and my mentors. I never had mentors when I was a kid or coaches. I just, you know, followed in the footsteps of my sisters and brothers when I was young, and that was not necessarily the best thing to do but, because I am a product of the 70s. But anyway, I have 2 coaches that I wanted to talk to and mentors. And my first one is Joshua Smith. I have his t-shirt on. It's GSD mode. I had it on last week.
You should have sent me a link for that.
GSD mode, get shit done. His name is Joshua Smith, and I went through his boot camp for real estate. My coaches are about business. I went through his boot camp in real estate in 2016, and I am part of his Mastery Alumni group, which is a Facebook group, and he does Q&As weekly, and he holds masterminds. This man is amazing. He is the most generous person with his time. When you have questions, he's just, and he's so knowledgeable. Remember, like a couple weeks ago, I posed a question because I was looking for a new coach, and I posted in our Facebook group, and he wrote me a novel back. I mean, he just is so generous, and he has had a really big impact in my life because of this group that I'm now a part of. I know agents all over the country, so we collaborate with people all over the country, and I just think it's great. And he's helped me. Yep. I just watched Ben Barber and Joshua Smith this morning, part 1. This is a 4-part series on short sales and REO. But anyway, this is Joshua Smith. Well, this is just somebody that he does podcasts every week. So anybody that's in the real estate world, I highly recommend listening to his podcasts. He has a free Facebook group. I'm part of a private one.
I have to tell you something though. I am a person that listens to my podcast on like 1.5, sometimes 2, depending on a slow talker. He is not a slow talker. All he does is talk really fast And sometimes I have to re-listen to him. But his podcasts, he just lets them go. There's no time limit. And sometimes they're like an hour, 2 hours long. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing's never gonna end. And
Well,
I
he
want to
provides a lot of information.
it is. It's like drinking from a water hose. I sometimes have to listen to him again because he talks so fast. And even
Yeah.
just thinking about him, now I'm talking fast.
Yeah. That's him on your screen on the left. He's amazing. I just
He
love him.
is.
So my other mentor and coach, I hope he watches this. I know Joshua won't, but I did some coaching with Shadi Bazzi, and his program was also a real estate course called Listings on Demand that I did, and then I was in his coaching program for, I don't know, maybe 8 months after that. And probably the best thing that he ever told me was we did a one-on-one coaching, and he just said, that I had to remember that the universe is telling me where I need to be. That is not his quote. I was going to bring it down here in my basement, but I forgot to. But the universe is telling me where I need to be, and I just need to be okay with that, which I thought was pretty good.
Self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is the hardest thing in the world. I struggle with it all the time. In fact, I talk to my therapist about it. I always think that I can do better, be better. I am like the constant perfectionist.
I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to do better and be better. I mean, that's what lifelong learning is about. It's trying to improve yourself. And it's great to have mentors who can guide you and provide guidance, provide advice, who know more than you.
But it's a catch-22, right? It's that those moments of I'm never gonna be enough. I'm never gonna be good enough. Every failure can sometimes be self-deprecating, a chance to be self-deprecating. And so that's also why you need a mentor, because sometimes I always say the root of all failure is the 6 inches between your ears. Self-sabotage. And I think having a mentor, yeah, it's totally a bad thing. Yeah. Like the root of all, but failure is a good thing. Learning how to fail. And I think honestly, the best way to learn to fail is to have somebody to talk to about this. Because as I mentioned, I'm part of an accountability group. And even as I'm part of AA talks about, going around in a circle and telling your story. When you get the stuff out of your head and it comes out of your mouth and you get to see the reaction on other people's faces, you're like, yeah, you can hear all your own rationalizations and justifications. And having a mentor and having somebody you can trust to be vulnerable enough to offer these things up is really, I think, the key to changing not only your behavior, but your way of thinking. And it's so important.
Yeah. You mentioned failing, and there's nothing wrong with failing. We learn unless you just go down the pit. But because we can learn from our failures and become better because of our failures. And that's like all about change. Then you just figure out how to change, and it is helpful to have a mentor. I would love to be a mentor. My goal is to be a mentor to other people. One of my goals is to be a mentor to other women and help them become successful in business and independently wealthy, because that's my goal. But anyway.
Yeah, no. I just want people to be happy. One of the quotes that is always stuck in my head about failure is an expert is somebody who has failed as many times as possible in a narrow field.
Oh, sure.
And I love that. Oh, here we go. I love you, Glen Daniels. I agree with the 6 inches between your ears. Totally, man.
On McCullis for law of attraction, I agree that it is 6 inches between your ears. I like it. Glen Daniels is part of my insane productivity accountability group. I think he's in Denver, if I am correct. Anyway,
It's
yeah.
hard to tell from his picture. It's not like there's a mountain behind him.
No, I just know him from my group.
And he's
I love
watching
that
us
he's
on YouTube.
commenting on this.
I
Yeah,
enjoy comments. I enjoy people that mentor. I think it's important in this world to make ourselves available, admit our mistakes, share our mistakes with other people in hopes that, they'll make their own. That's all
I
we
want
can do, right?
I want to say something else. So
Okay.
Jennifer, I think you are a great mentor. We've had two other agents in this real estate world. People learn from you. You are a great mentor. Accept it.
Uh,
Accept it.
I have been known to do some mentoring and some training in my day. I didn't want to go there, but thank you very much.
Very
And
true.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. You're so funny. I
Okay,
think
you
we're
guys,
going to wrap up.
tomorrow we're talking about tax brackets, okay?
Exciting.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, and we'll see you later.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.